Here's something most people never realize. A lot of what we think we know about planes is actually wrong. Some ideas have been repeated for so long that they just feel true, even when they're not. And it's not only first-time flyers who believe them. Even people who travel often still get fooled by common myths about turbulence, safety, seats, delays, and what really happens in the air. Some of these mistakes simply make flying more stressful than it needs to be. Others can cost you comfort, time, and even money. In this video, we're breaking down 15 things almost everyone gets wrong about planes, from everyday travel myths to facts that might completely change how you fly. Some of these will make total sense once you hear them, and a few might genuinely surprise you. Let's start with number 15. Number 15. Planes fly in a straight line. A lot of people look at flight paths on apps and think the pilot is taking a strange detour. A flight from New York to London might curve north, and a trip from Los Angeles to Tokyo can seem to bend far out of the way. But that curved route is often the shortest and smartest path. The confusion happens because we look at flat maps. The Earth is round, and when you try to show a round planet on a flat screen, distances can look misleading. In real life, planes often follow what is called a great circle route, which is the shortest path between 2 points on a globe. That is why some flights seem to curve. They are not wasting time, they are actually saving it. Pilots also plan routes based on weather and wind. High above the Earth are powerful jet streams, which are fast-moving air currents. If a plane can use a strong tailwind, it can fly faster and use less fuel. Avoiding storms or rough air can also change the route. So what looks like a strange curve on your phone is usually the result of smart planning, better fuel use, and the actual shape of the planet. The route only looks wrong because the map is flat. Number 14. Autopilot means pilots just sit there. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings people have about flying. Many imagine pilots switching on autopilot after takeoff and then relaxing while the plane does all the work. That is not how it works at all. Autopilot is a tool, not a replacement for the crew. It can help manage speed, altitude, and direction, but only based on the settings and decisions pilots give it. The system does not think for itself. Pilots are still constantly watching instruments, checking weather, speaking with air traffic control, monitoring fuel, and staying ready for anything unexpected. Even on long flights, someone is always actively focused in the cockpit. Automation actually increases the need for skilled pilots because they must understand exactly what the system is doing and step in instantly if something changes. And when it matters most, during takeoff, landing, rough weather, or emergencies, pilots are fully in control. Those are the moments where training, judgment, and quick decisions matter far more than software. So while autopilot helps make flights smoother and reduces workload, it does not mean the crew is doing nothing. Behind every calm, smooth flight, there are trained professionals paying attention every second from departure to arrival safely. Number 13. If both engines fail, the plane drops like a rock. This is one of the scariest things people imagine, but it is not how planes work. A commercial aircraft is not simply held up by its engines. What really keeps it flying is lift created by the wings as air moves over them. The engines mainly provide thrust to keep the plane moving forward, so even if both engines stop, the aircraft can still glide for a long distance instead of dropping straight down. At cruising altitude, a plane has a huge amount of height and momentum to work with. That gives pilots valuable time to respond, plan, and look for the safest place to land. This is not just theory. In 1983, an Air Canada flight lost both engines after running out of fuel because of a loading mistake. The pilots managed to glide the plane safely to an old airstrip, and everyone on board survived. That flight became famous as the Gimli glider. Cases like this are extremely rare, but they show how aircraft are designed and how pilots are trained. Even in a serious emergency, a plane can still stay in the air far longer than most people think. It glides, and that can make all the difference. Number 12. Plain food tastes bad because airlines are cheap. People love to blame airlines for bland meals, but the real reason food tastes different in the air has a lot to do with your body. Once a plane reaches cruising altitude, the cabin becomes much drier than normal. The air inside is extremely low in humidity, which quickly dries out your nose and mouth. That matters because smell plays a huge role in how food tastes. When your sense of smell becomes weaker, flavors feel dull and less enjoyable. On top of that, cabin pressure also affects your taste buds. At altitude, your ability to notice sweet and salty flavors drops, which makes many foods seem flat or boring. So even if the same meal tasted fine on the ground, it may feel disappointing in the air. But here is the interesting part. Not every flavor gets weaker. Savory, rich flavors, known as umami, can actually taste better during a flight. That is why things like tomato juice, pasta sauce, and certain soups often feel more satisfying in the sky. So while some airline meals are not amazing, the reason food tastes strange is not just cost-cutting. Your body reacts differently at altitude, and that changes how every bite feels. Number 11. Turbulence can crash a plane. This is one of the biggest fears people have when flying. The plane starts shaking, the seat moves, your drink spills a little, and your mind instantly thinks something is going wrong. But the truth is, turbulence is a normal part of flying, and planes are built to handle far more stress than most people realize. Commercial aircraft go through extreme safety testing before they ever carry passengers. Their wings are designed to bend and flex because that flexibility helps absorb force in rough air. So when you look out the window and see the wing moving, that is not a warning sign. That is the plane working exactly as it should. Every year, thousands of flights experience moderate or even strong turbulence, and planes still land safely. The real danger is not the aircraft failing. It is passengers getting hurt because they were not prepared. Most serious injuries happen when people are standing up, walking to the bathroom, or sitting without a seatbelt during sudden rough air. That is why one simple habit matters more than anything else. Keep your seatbelt on whenever you are in your seat, even if the sign is off. That small choice can prevent the only real risk turbulence brings. Number 10. Cabin air is full of recycled germs. A lot of people picture planes as sealed tubes where everyone breathes the same dirty air for hours. It sounds unpleasant, but the truth is very different. The air inside modern planes is much cleaner than most people think. Commercial aircraft use powerful HEPA filters, the same type used in hospitals, to remove tiny particles from the air. These filters catch almost all dust, bacteria, and many viruses. On top of that, cabin air is refreshed very often, usually every 2 to 3 minutes during flight. That is much faster than in most offices, homes, or public buildings. So the air itself is not usually the biggest problem. The real issue is the surfaces around you. Tray tables, seatbelt buckles, armrests, touchscreens, bathroom handles, and overhead bin latches are touched by many people and may not always be cleaned well between flights. That is where germs are more likely to spread. So, if you want to stay healthy while flying, worrying about the air vent is not the best use of your energy. A smarter move is to carry hand sanitizer or wipes and clean the surfaces you use. The air on planes is not the threat most people imagine. What you touch matters much more than what you breathe. Number 9. A bullet hole would bring down the plane. Movies love to show one small hole causing instant chaos, but real aircraft are far stronger than that. A small hole in the body of a plane would create a leak, not an instant disaster. Modern aircraft are built with pressurization systems that constantly pump air into the cabin and are designed to handle small pressure losses. So a bullet-sized hole is nowhere near enough to make a plane suddenly fall from the sky. The real danger comes from much larger damage, like a window blowing out or part of the plane's structure failing. That kind of opening can cause rapid decompression and create serious risks. But even then, planes are built with safety layers and trained crews who know how to respond. There are real examples that prove how tough aircraft are. In one famous case, a large section of a plane's roof tore away during flight, yet the pilot still managed to land safely and save most people on board. That shows just how strong commercial planes really are. So while any damage in flight is serious, the idea that one small hole means instant disaster is pure movie drama. Planes are designed with far more strength and safety than most people realize. Number 8. You can open a plane door. Mid-flight. Movies have made people believe this for years, but in real life, it simply cannot happen. Once a plane reaches cruising altitude, the cabin is pressurized so passengers can breathe normally. That creates a huge pressure difference between the air inside the plane and the thin air outside. This pressure pushes strongly against the doors and keeps them sealed shut. In simple terms, the higher the plane flies, the harder it becomes to open a door. Most commercial aircraft doors are also designed to open inward first before moving out, which makes it even more impossible while the cabin is under pressure. So even if someone pulled the handle in the middle of a flight, nothing would happen. The door would stay locked in place because physics is doing the job. People sometimes mention rare stories of doors opening, but those cases happen when the plane is close to landing, flying lower, and the pressure difference has dropped. That is completely different from cruising high in the sky. At normal flight altitude, no passenger is strong enough to force a plane door open. So if you have ever worried about this, you can stop. The door is not opening. The science makes sure of it every single time. Number 7. Flying is dangerous. This is probably the biggest myth people still believe about planes. The truth is, flying is the safest way to travel by a huge margin. But fear does not come from facts. It comes from how something feels. A little turbulence, strange sounds, or being high in the air can make people nervous, even when everything is completely normal. Meanwhile, the numbers tell a very different story. Your lifetime chance of dying in a car crash is around 1 in 100, while the chance of dying in a commercial plane crash is closer to 1 in several million. Modern aviation is built around safety. Planes are checked constantly, pilots train for emergencies again and again, and every part of the system is designed to reduce risk. So why are people still more scared of flying than driving? Because plane incidents get huge attention. Even a small delay or technical issue can become a headline, while road accidents happen every day and barely get noticed. That constant coverage tricks people into thinking flying is more dangerous than it really is. In reality, the riskiest part of most trips is usually the drive to the airport. The facts have been clear for years. Fear just makes people forget them. Number 6. Phones will crash the plane. This is one of those travel myths that refuses to disappear. Many people still think forgetting airplane mode could somehow interfere with the pilot's controls or bring down the aircraft. The truth is, there is no real evidence that a passenger's phone has ever caused a commercial plane crash. Not once. Modern aircraft are built with strong shielding and advanced systems designed to handle electronic interference. Your phone is simply not powerful enough to take over or confuse the plane's navigation equipment. The original concern about electronic devices came decades ago, when technology was far less advanced and experts wanted to be extra careful. That caution turned into rules that many people still follow without knowing why. Today, the main reason airlines ask for airplane mode is not because your phone is dangerous. It is mostly about reducing signal issues, avoiding network problems, and making cabin systems run smoothly. In some places, airlines are already testing or allowing onboard mobile service without any safety concerns. So if you accidentally forget airplane mode for a few minutes, the plane is not about to fall out of the sky. Your phone is not a threat to the aircraft. At most, it might drain your battery faster while searching for a signal. Number 5. I know how planes stay in the air. A lot of us were taught a simple explanation in school. Air moves faster over the top of the wing because the top is curved, and that creates lift. It sounds neat, but that version leaves out a lot. In fact, the common idea that air on top and bottom must meet again at the back of the wing is not actually true. Air over the top often moves much faster, but not because it is trying to catch up. Real flight is more complex than that. Wings are carefully shaped to control airflow, create pressure differences, and push air downward. As the wing moves forward, it deflects air below it. That downward push creates an equal upward force that helps lift the plane. At the same time, lower pressure above the wing also plays a role, so lift comes from several forces working together, not one simple rule. The amazing part is that flight still feels almost magical when you really think about it. Engineers understand it well enough to make flying incredibly safe, but the full behavior of airflow in every condition is still deeply complex. Planes stay up because science works, even if the full picture is more fascinating than most people realize. Number 4. Planes dump toilet waste. Mid-flight. This is one of those strange myths that many people have heard, but it is simply not true. Modern commercial planes use sealed vacuum toilet systems that store all waste in onboard tanks during the entire flight. Nothing is being released into the sky while you are traveling. After the plane lands, ground crews connect equipment to the aircraft and safely empty those tanks. That is how the system is designed to work every single time. The loud vacuum flush can make people think something dramatic is happening, but it is just part of how the system moves waste quickly and keeps the bathroom clean. Another fear people have is getting sucked into the toilet while flushing. That sounds scary, but it is not something that can actually happen. There is no kind of airtight seal that could trap a person. The flush is powerful enough to clear the bowl, not strong enough to pull you in. So if you have ever worried about plane toilets being unsafe or waste being dumped below, you can stop. The system is built to be safe, sealed, and controlled from takeoff to landing. Number 3. Lightning would destroy a plane. Seeing lightning near your window can feel scary, but the truth is, planes are built for this exact situation. Commercial aircraft are struck by lightning far more often than most people think, on average about once a year during their service life. And in almost every case, nothing serious happens. Modern planes are designed so that electricity travels safely along the outside of the aircraft instead of through the cabin. The metal body acts like a protective shield, guiding the lightning around the plane and away from passengers. That means the people inside usually feel nothing at all. At most, the plane may need a routine inspection after landing to check for small marks on the outside. The last major commercial crash caused directly by lightning happened many decades ago, and aircraft design has changed massively since then. Today's planes have better shielding, stronger fuel tank protection, and systems built specifically to handle lightning strikes safely. So when you see a storm outside your window, it may look dramatic, but it is not a sign that the plane is in danger. In fact, you are still in one of the safest places you could be. The aircraft was designed with moments like this in mind from the very beginning. Number 2. Planes fly high to avoid bad weather. A lot of people assume airlines climb to high altitude just to stay above clouds and turbulence. While smoother air is definitely a benefit, that is not the main reason. The real reason is efficiency. The higher a plane flies, the thinner the air becomes. Thinner air creates much less drag, which means the aircraft can move faster while using less fuel. That makes a huge difference for airlines, especially on long flights. At cruising altitude, engines also work more efficiently because the air is colder. Cold air helps improve performance and fuel use, which saves even more money over time. On top of that, pilots often take advantage of jet streams, strong, high-altitude winds that can push the plane forward and reduce flight time. A good tailwind can save fuel, shorten the journey, and help the plane arrive early. Flying high also helps avoid some weather, but not all of it. Storms can still reach high altitudes, and pilots still plan carefully around them. So while staying above rough weather sounds like the obvious answer, it is really about smart performance. Planes fly high because it is faster, smoother, and far more efficient than staying lower in the sky. Number 1. I would know if the cabin lost pressure. This is the most important myth on this list because, in a real emergency, believing it could be dangerous. Most people think they would instantly feel something was wrong and have plenty of time to react. That is not true. At cruising altitude, if cabin pressure suddenly drops, the amount of oxygen available falls fast. You may only have seconds to act before your thinking becomes slow or confused. The dangerous part is that low oxygen does not always feel like panic or suffocation. In many cases, people feel strangely calm, lightheaded, or even relaxed. That false sense of comfort can stop you from realizing how serious the situation is. That is exactly why oxygen masks are designed to drop automatically. They are there because waiting to see how you feel can waste the few seconds that matter most. If masks ever drop, do not look around, do not wait for instructions, and do not assume it is a mistake. Put your mask on immediately and tighten it properly before helping anyone else. That simple reaction could protect your brain, keep you conscious, and give you the time you need. Sometimes the most dangerous emergencies are the ones you do not feel coming at all. And that is what this video really shows. Most of the things people fear about flying come from myths, not facts. Planes are not held together by luck or hope. They are built through years of testing, engineering, and constant safety checks. The things that seem scary, turbulence, strange sounds, lightning, cabin pressure, have all been studied, planned for, and designed around long before you ever step on board. Every system on a plane exists for a reason, and every crew member is trained for situations most passengers never even think about. The more you understand how flying actually works, the less mysterious and stressful it becomes. Not because flying is perfect, but because the level of safety behind every flight is far greater than most people realize. So the next time you board a plane, remember this: the facts have always been more reassuring than the fear. If any of these myths surprised you, let me know in the comments. And if you know someone who still gets nervous before flying, share this video with them. It might completely change how they feel the next time they travel.